So I am here with Matt Smedley, Reverend Matt Smedley, who is the Executive Director, I think is the right title, for Mission Possible in both of its incarnations, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And I've invited Matt to just have a conversation with me today to partly for selfish reasons. It's been a while since I've been on the district, and reconnecting and re-engaging with the various ministries that have been part of the Kamloops Pacific District over the years has been part of my journey in these initial months. And so this conversation is largely for me, but it does seem to me that in these days, it would be helpful for us as a district family to understand what's going on in the downtown east side of Vancouver through the initiatives of Mission Possible. And so set up here with a few questions that I wanted to ask Matt, and he's graciously made himself available for that. I don't know how I'm going to pose this, so if we're staging it too much, I might say good morning, and you say good morning back to me, but the truth of the matter is it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, so good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for being here. Can you just quickly take us again through the history of Mission Possible as in a quick overview?
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably are better at telling the origin story of the organization, but yeah, we're coming up on 30 years of ministry here in the downtown east side of Vancouver. You know, Reverend Liz Wall was the founder of the organization, but really surrounded by folks from primarily Vancouver First Church and Primera and others kind of in the Lower Mainland here who rallied around her and helped to get this ministry off the ground, officially formalized back in 1992. And yeah, it's really gone through a few different iterations of ministry in the neighborhood, but continue to find vital ways to support folks who are challenged by poverty and homelessness in the community here.
So yeah, so 92 is when it was incorporated. So actually the seeds of it would precede that into the late 80s, really, I think, and you're right, out of the Vancouver First Church. I actually remember being part of Liz Wall's initial forays. She had space in a place called the Sunshine Mission. I don't know if it's still there. It was right adjacent to Hoppenmeyer Park. And I think the overseer of that was Sister Hilda something or other. And anyway, she had a passion that for her own ministry there that kind of translated into a bit of a, well, it wasn't always easy to work with her. So that was part of the motivation to launch out and find Mission Possible its own space.
Right.
So I introduced you as the executive director. Is that the right title?
Yeah, I actually have two titles. One is executive director. The other is CEO as well. So I wear both of those kind of at the same time.
So talk to me about what those roles mean.
Yeah, so I mean, Mission Possible is ultimately two different entities. And just kind of jump into the specifics and technicalities. Mission Possible Compassion Ministry Society is our charitable organization. And then back a number of years ago, we started operating some businesses that would employ people from the community. And in so doing, have created another entity that's called Mission Possible Enterprises, Inc., which is wholly owned by the charity Mission Possible Compassion Ministry Society. And so there's ultimately two entities there that work together to create a pathway for people to move back into employment, to re-engage work, but ultimately to be able to experience the dignity of, dignity and sense of purpose for their lives, feel a sense of inclusion and belonging in the community, but be able to use their own gifts and abilities as well to contribute, rather than just be recipients of services in the community, to turn that around and be contributors and have a place to just use their own abilities to better the community here in the downtown east side.
So I didn't cue this up, but I'm just wondering if you have a story or two that you can add to sort of model how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, for an individual, they'll come in possibly to one of our breakfasts that happens on Saturday mornings, and they will both get a good meal to eat, but they'll also hear about the opportunities to come join our employment readiness program. from that point, they are able to come to an information session where they can hear what the opportunities are for them, whether it's a good fit, whether it's something they're able to take on at this point. And from there, they step into workshops. Those workshops are really accessible, kind of just foundational, transferable skills that can help people who've been out of work for years start to think again about what it means to be an employee, to be have responsibilities, to be professional, to kind of move into that workspace, which is a cross-cultural opportunity for people. I mean, the culture of the downtown east side is one where individuals are really, they're stuck in rhythms, right? And you may just say ruts, but it's really this pattern that people go through every day to, secure the food that they need, to secure the shelter that they need, and, for their own other ways that they occupy themselves, whether it's hobbies or whatever it may be. But this culture of work is very different. The expectations that employers have for employees, to start thinking more long term, is really difficult for folks who are thinking a lot of times just day to day. How do I make it through today? And so helping people navigate that shift and begin to build those skills again is critical. And then from that point, out of the workshops, they connect with coaches, and the coaches just are able to sit down with them, be able to connect one-on-one, and really kind of dig into some of the challenges and barriers that they're facing, whether it be things outside of employment, just personal issues, or whether it's things really specifically around getting a job. And then the coaches work with them, and then when they are deemed ready, the coach can make a referral to our businesses. And so individuals will come in, they'll do an interview, continuing to try to build those skills, do the interview, and then if they're a good fit for that, they'll be offered a job. And so we'll bring them on to, full orientation process, onboarding, and then away they go, start working with our teams.
So I think some people are going to be surprised to hear your answer to this, but approximately how many persons from the east side are you employing right now through Mission Possible Enterprise?
Yeah, so this past year we had 85 people who worked with us, which was a big growth. Just continuing to employ more every year. And pre-COVID-19, we had, I believe, 62 on at one time. So individuals are hired.
Persons on your payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those are just transitional staff.
Yeah.
So altogether, we have, about a month and a half ago, we had right around 100 people who were on staff.
Yeah.
On our payroll. Which
is extraordinary.
It is, yeah. I mean, and it's been, it's just been amazing to see the growth that we've been able to experience, but ultimately the impact that it has in people's lives, and to see just some extraordinary transformation that takes place for individuals when they're given an opportunity, and people start to believe in them and treat them like a normal human being. It's just it's fascinating.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no kidding. So how would you say, how would you differentiate the work of Mission Possible from, there's, I think I'm not exaggerating to say there's dozens of mission type agencies that are active in the downtown east side.
Mm-hmm.
Some that I could name and people would be familiar with, and then some that no one had ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
How do you fit into that puzzle and pantheon of different initiatives?
Yeah, there's an amazing ecosystem in this community that really provides support for people that goes far beyond what the government can provide, or does provide, I should say. And so Mission Possible fits into that ecosystem in a couple of different ways, but the primary place that we see ourselves is really working with individuals who reach a point in their lives where they are looking to really take steps forward. And it may be that they have they've been receiving some help from medical professionals around mental health issues. It may be that they have gone through a drug and alcohol program and they, are coming out the other side of that and looking to re-engage with next steps in life. It may be people who, they've had, we've have women who work with us who have never had a job before. They've raised kids and they've struggled with poverty all through that. And now their kids are growing up and they don't even know how to get started with working a job. So there's all kinds of ways that we engage with folks, but it's really those individuals who are really looking to take hold of an opportunity and move forward. The kind of the differentiator, to just a way to think about how Mission Possible is somewhat different from the other organizations. We intentionally want to, we use this phrase, hold people capable. We believe that people have ability to not only do things for themselves, but they are the experts on their own issues and their own problems that they want to solve. And so we are trying to create opportunities for us to just support them in that forward movement. So we kind of look at it from the two different lenses. Generally, you'll have organizations that are primarily doing relief work, where you will have people in crisis who need they need immediate support for whether it's food or shelter or medical care or mental health crises or whatever that may be. But what we want to do is quickly as possible move people into this this type of development work where we are utilizing the resources and the capacities that people have to help strengthen both them, but ultimately that helps to strengthen the entire community when people are more stabilized, when they're able to be contributors rather than recipients of services.
So we're about 4 or 5 weeks into the social restrictions that are upon us because of COVID-19, and depending who you talk to, that's still at least a month or so on us, and perhaps much, much longer.
Mm-hmm.
How's that affected you, your clients? Are you developing a vision for how to work through this should it continue in a long way?
Yeah, so the 60 or so that I talked about who were on our payroll, we're down to about 20 right now who are still working in a transitional job. And by transitional, I mean we hire individuals for 6 months at a time to get them kind of started in work and then help support them transition into other work. And so about 20 of those individuals are still working, and we've got close to 40 who are either on voluntary leave for their own health reasons or because they live with someone who has health concerns. And so they have kind of put their contract on hold, and we'll bring them back on once we're able to kind of move up to full capacity. It's created some real challenges for us. We've had to adapt quite a bit, and so we've got a whole fleet of vehicles that we go all over the city and Lower Mainland doing different types of maintenance work and cleaning and things like that. And we've had to stop use of the vehicles other than just one person in them at a time. And so right now all the work that we're doing is on foot from our location on Hastings Street. And so just some real restrictions on what we can do. But we've also at the same time been we've leased a new space just across the street from our office, and are doing some renovations in there to get it ready for being able to kind of bring all of the work that we're doing into one location. We're currently in 3 different buildings, and so we want to have it under one roof. And this blessed virus has kind of slowed that work down as well. The trades that are doing that work have had, they're about half staffed right now, and so they're not able to have as many people on site, and just kind of delays the whole process. And so that's been unfortunate, but really we are really looking at, okay, when this crisis of this virus is over, that space will be opened, and we'll kind of create a whole new opportunity for the folks who are working with us. just in the depth of engagement that we can have with them, in the sense of community and strengthening relationships and supporting individuals. That space is going to offer a whole new way for us to operate, and bringing things much closer together. So I'm looking forward to that.
No kidding. No matter how long it is. Sooner rather than later, we hope.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so you already mentioned 1992 is when it was incorporated, and over these almost 30 years, the district family, Canada Pacific District, has engaged with Mission Possible in various and different ways. Financial support in the earlier days, lots of volunteer days at breakfasts and hair cutting and all kinds of things that I'm just pulling up off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
These days, I've just kind of been thinking, you and I have begun a conversation already that we're going to continue about how the district can come alongside with the mission in more tangible ways than maybe we have in the last little while. And but I'm just wondering for your district family who would like to invest themselves somehow in Mission Possible in all of its expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on some practical ideas on how we could do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one that I would always ask for is prayer. I know that it's just a real encouragement to myself and to our team to know that there are individuals out there who are holding us up in prayer, as the work is difficult and takes a toll on our staff. And so truly appreciate that. There's kind of, like you mentioned, there's kind of three main ways that what the current partners that we try to connect with are supporting us. One is that financial one, and just supporting the operations and the ongoing work. The second one is that people can hire our services for their commercial properties. And so if there's any business owners that need some pressure washing done or need some painting done, some landscaping, all those kinds of things, we do offer those kinds of services.
Does that extend to residential persons as well?
Primarily commercial. Yeah, we do some strata work as well, but generally not just individual households.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third one that we ask our partners for is employment opportunities. And so we've got hundreds of folks who have gone through our program that we want to continue to create more employment opportunities for folks in the future. And so connecting with employers to be able to bring individuals on. That's just one way for kind of local thinking, but kind of district-wide as well. I mean, there are still volunteer opportunities for that breakfast to come down, engage with individuals from the neighborhood, be able to contribute a meaningful morning, and would still invite our churches to participate in that. And also we do kind of we have ongoing needs for different items that folks may be able to collect. I know Norm up in Whitehorse has some work boots for us that he's looking to get to us. But that's a really practical way for people to support our folks, is to have good footwear. So we provide work boots for all the folks who start with us. And so if people have kind of a lead on a few pairs of work boots, if they're used, they need to be kind of very gently used. We want them to be good and supportive for them. And some other things like mugs for our morning breakfast and coffee house. We use hard mugs, and those mugs grow legs and they walk away on a regular basis. So things like that. But we do have we put a needs list on our website, which is just kind of a practical way for organizations, individuals to be involved and to be able to contribute those kinds of items is super helpful to us.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to throw in this conversation before we wind it up?
I would just, one thing that's been fascinating for me in the just over the last month or so is the way that this, to go back to the kind of the COVID-19 piece, it's been really challenging for for everybody, but the way that it has been challenging for us is the ways that I've mentioned, just kind of reduced services and things like that. But what it has brought out is it's brought out an amazing connection with a whole host of the organizations in this community, and we're actually meeting. We do these Zoom meetings 3 times a week. There's about 40 or 50 different individuals and organizations that are on those calls, including staff from the city of Vancouver. We've had the mayor on those calls, and just have brought a new just ability and a desire to collaborate together to really solve some of the immediate challenges that we are facing, and it's been a beautiful thing to see and to be a part of. And I find myself getting emotional on some of those calls sometimes, just by the way that so many people, not just those from faith-based organizations and church communities, but so many people who are part of this community have such a deep love and care for the individuals who are in this community, and truly are working for to help them experience the dignity and the have their needs met. It's amazing for me to see, and I'm just so grateful to be able to experience it and be a part of it. And so whenever you hear this kind of thing, there's so many organizations in the downtown east side and none of them work together and they're all doing their own thing, and that's just not true. I mean, we've for years have worked really closely with lots of organizations.
Good.
And there is a real desire to collaborate and to bring some real solutions to some of the issues that individuals are facing. And so, but this current virus has really just strengthened that in a degree that nothing else could have, I think. And it's been a really beautiful thing to see. Despite some of the ongoing tragedies that we all kind of see day after day and are experiencing, there's a lot of good and a lot of amazing people involved in this neighborhood, and so it's great to be a part of. I'm blessed by it.
Good. Matt, thanks so much for giving me this time.
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Matt Smedley, CEO of Mission Possible Enterprise and Executive Director of Mission Possible Compassion Ministries, something like that. CEO,
Cool.
You're the big wig. And quite frankly, I'm glad you're at the helm these days. So be assured of my prayers for you and the support of your church family. Thanks for taking this time today.
Yeah, thanks, Gord.
Okay.